for a customer. And this little green button here, this is our ServerSave installer. And so you click on that, you download it to a machine, and you see I can have it here on my desktop. So I click on this. I can now log in as that username I just created, basically the customer. And once you log in, you're able to download the software and license it for that customer all in one place. Now, I've already installed the pieces of software for this demo server, obviously. You can see how we installed on the backup recovery. That's going to back up our folders and our files and our images if we want to. We have the Exchange Grant Recovery software installed. You can see I have license details here. I can install that license file. We have the bare metal image creator installed. There's also a license key for that. So basically, this is getting everything you need to do to install and license. There are some additional buttons up here just to help you with more assistance, like this is a little tutorial. You know, what kind of backup do I want for a file server? It's going to make a suggestion for both, basically. Create an image and also online backup. And then support and manage gives you web login, tells you how much you're using, more information on the product site, contact us, and so on. So I'm gonna just minimize that for now, and I'm gonna show you our new and improved on the backup recovery manager. We're very proud of this. Out of I don't know, since we've been a company since 2001, and over the years, constantly improving our technology. And the online backup recovery manager is one of our latest builds of our software, where we completely re-engineered how it backs up data. And just real quickly, things that help us with that, it's 40% faster backups. You're able to also back up huge files now. There's more support for different, all the way from Windows XP all the way up to Server 08R2, also SBS 2011. So there's really lots of compatibility for different kinds of files and systems and file sizes, lots of files. So we're very proud of this. So.
And two important metrics there, like John's absolutely right. Like the two things we set out to do with this solution was we wanted to be able to handle with ease a 1 million file backup set and a 1 terabyte individual file. Feel free to challenge other vendors on that. Nearly any other solution in the market falls over once you start to throw hundreds of thousands of files at it, or individual files that are very large, like over 100 gigs. So the performance thresholds that we tried to bake into this product in the re-engineer was a 1 million file backup set should be standard, and a 1 terabyte file should be standard.
Okay. We got a question from John. It says, assume there's a SQL option, like Exchange option. The SQL and Exchange are backed up with the image creator software. I'll go through that in just a little bit. Another question, can we have this window open a bit larger? This presentation in real life. Let me see here. I'm not really sure how to do that on this. I could probably try and change the resolution. We're gonna keep rolling on that, guys. Sorry about that. Our SUSE and RSHEs. I'm guessing SUSE you mean Linux. We don't have Linux support at the moment. Okay, so basically when I set up my backup here, this can back up file server, PCs, desktops. There's really no restrictions on there. You'd be able to select files that are on your desktop, maybe in a data folder on another drive. You'd be able to also select another drive to back up our images created by Image Creator as well. So it kind of does everything for you. By hitting next, we just get the last page where we select our backup frequency. You might want to check this box to back up when no one's logged in. And you can select hourly backups, just to make sure that you have enough time for the backup to finish before the next one starts. And we have an email address you type in there for email reports. You're going to get total amount of files backed up, files that were protected, files not backed up. There's a little section in the email that tells you maybe you have some possible errors for some files. So I'm just going to proceed there. And the backup started. And if you want to look at the backup, it's sitting here in the tray, and you see here, you'll be able to see each file backed up. If there's any errors, you'll see them in this bottom section here. And this does what we call a streaming backup. It also uses less temp space. What it's going to do is it's actually going to basically stream about 10 megabytes to the cloud. But while it's doing that process, it's doing the encryption and compression while streaming it. That's also helping it to be more efficient. I'm going to go over to the Restore tab here. So online Restore, you'd use what we call this a Restore Wizard, and you'd use this if you want to do a calendar or date-based recovery of a large folder or a small folder. And you see we have a bunch of bold dates here. That's what you do. You select the bold date for what you want to recover to, and this will go back quite a ways. So you can change this here, and then select when you want to recover. I think I just got a little too overzealous there. All right, we'll go to March 29th. And as you can see here, these are all the systems that I backed up under this one backup account. And the nice thing about this wizard is that I can actually do a recovery of my data from multiple systems at once. So I would go to one server here, and I'd expand what I want to recover. And let's say I want to recover just a file like that. And then I go down here to another machine, and let's say I want to recover maybe an image from another one. So let's go here, and I can select this environmental here and hit finish, and next, sorry. So here's where you want to go to recovery as far as choosing where you want to recover to. Whenever you're including the original path, you want to be careful that you don't recover to another location that already has several subfolders inside of it. Because when you recover your files, doing so, you might make your file names too long, where they have too many characters inside of them. So to play it safe, I always choose a new location, and I'll choose the C drive as my recovery place. And you'll see when I hit finish here, we'll do a recovery, and we're going to have a folder for each computer name, or for each system we backed up, keeping everything nice and organized. This is very helpful because if you have a folder you're backing up, I have 1,000 files in there, and there's maybe different subfolders inside of there as well, you'll get all the organization that you would need. And I've already done a recovery here of lots of demo 8, so I'm just saying, yeah, override it, replace it, that's fine. And when this is all done, I'll show you those folders. So this is actually downloading, it's decompressing, it's decrypting the files, all those things that are important to happen. So it's not just a straight download of unencrypted decompressed files.
Now might be a great time to pause for a couple of questions if anyone's got any.
We do have some questions. Got any specific template of small business server from Microsoft? I don't really understand that question as far as the template, but basically, small business servers are basically Windows Server. Could be 2003, 2008. I know SBS 2011 is basically 2008 R2 server with Exchange installed on it and SQL installed on it. So we don't really have any templates. Hopefully I answered your question there. I zoomed the webinar viewer on my system so that I could see. Okay, so there's a zoom view on there, guys. That's good. The local backup is to what device? USB external. So if you're referring to the local backup inside the software here, we do have a local backup client. This is basically designed to back up folders and files on PCs, not for servers. And yeah, it can back up to a USB device if that's what you want it to.
Or a NAS location as well, network location.
Yep. Can I back up virtual machines from VMware? Absolutely. You just install on the backup software, and it'll work just fine inside there. Any dedupe capability? No, we don't do deduplication because we are a third-party vendor. We are storing your data in our data center encrypted. So the only way for us to actually do a proper deduplication would be on the backup server at our data center. Being that your files are encrypted with us, we don't mess with your files. We don't want to compare them, meaning be able to read the information inside those files. So because of security, we don't do it.
And when you talk about dedupe, there's sort of 3 different elements of dedupe. There's intra-account dedupe or deduping across multiple accounts. We absolutely never do that. There's, and that's what Dropbox does, and it's a big part of the problem why there's a security problem with Dropbox. There's dedupe within a single account, and it's server-side dedupe, and we use a little bit of that in our storage arrays, but it's quite seamless to you guys. Our entire pricing model is based on raw storage anyway. And then there's the third one is intra-file dedupe. So doing deduplication within a file client side during the backup process. We do have our own XDelta technology that does some of that intra-file dedupe. Usually when people ask about dedupe, they're asking about inter-account dedupe, and we don't do that because we view it as a security risk.
Okay. Got another question here. If I made a change to a certain file, does that automatically get synced to the cloud, or do I need to choose and select that file again for backup? So when you go in and protect your files, let's say you protect your My Documents folder for backup, it's automatically going to back that file up, that folder up, and then every time the scheduled backup is supposed to run, it's going to look at the files that have been modified, and it will back up that file. Additionally, it'll back up any new files that are added to the same folder. The question here is, if I wanted to go back to a point of time to see an older iteration of a file, do you have an option or report to go to that specific point in time? Absolutely. In the Restore Wizard, it does have the calendar to look at your folder and stuff like that. But easier, we do have our web recovery, which is one of my favorites. And there is a drop down next to every file that has a version, and you can hit the drop down, you can choose the version right there, and I'll show that to you right now. That was where I was going to go next while we have that recovery going. And I'm just actually going to search for a file.
Now, as you can see here, this is branded generically, so the Acme is just the demo company we use to demonstrate the branding of all the different pieces of software that we've got.
So there are some files in here. You can see right here, I do have a drop-down next to some of them, and that drop-down does mean there's a version where it is a different date and time. Do that, and I select that file, and I can then recover it. It just gives me that file right there in the browser to save or open. Additionally, you can just share those files as well by typing in the name of the share. You can even type in a message for that person. Here is that file you lost. Go over here, click Friend, type in their name, then type in their email address, and then hit Share. And they'll get an email to then look at an email with a link inside of it. Then they can then click on that link and download that folder or file. Now, after you actually share a file, you do go to Manage Shares. This is where you can look to basically unshare a file if you think it should be shared any longer. Other features in here are the reports. You have backup history. This is by date range. So I can just basically look and see what's going on during that time. I'm going to just go here a little quicker so it's faster for you guys. When I do click a search, it does have to go to the backup servers and basically look and see what's backed up real quickly and update itself. So it is running a query. So it could take a minute or so for that to work. And once it's done, you'll have a report based on that date range. Other features in here, there is view account, change password, things like that. You can allow your customers to cancel their own accounts if you want to, or we can just hide that feature altogether. So while that's still running, a little report there. While it's running, I'm going to go back to the software client, and I'm going to show you guys Classic View. Classic View also is a place where you can see your versions as well, where you can, there's a drop down next to each of them. Like I said right here, there's a version drop down for different file types. Classic View is also where you can come and delete folders and files. You just right click and delete, very simple. And here's our report. So you can see that, based on our date range, it's doing the newest at the top and the machine name next to it and how much data that backup session. There's another one that says machine backup details. It's basically a summary of all your systems you're backing up in this one account, and it shows the total amount of storage each is taking up in the last backup date. So that's kind of nifty there. So that's kind of a summary of the online backup and recovery technology. This is still running. I think I actually selected too much data to back up, but it's already started. So let me show you what I'm talking about there. You can see we have some folders here. This is the computer name of the machines we're doing recovery of. So that's how it organizes everything for us. And you can see here we can go to the last, there's our file. So that's very convenient there. The next thing I'm going to show you is our Exchange ground recovery software. And before I do that, I'm going to make sure that I have one of our images mounted. Yes, we do. And what I mean by there is we have one of our image creator images in this folder here. And then we actually right-clicked on one of them and choose Quick Mount. It creates a Windows drive letter. And now we have access to the Exchange folder. And I'm going to launch EGR here. And I'm going to select the EDB file from that mounted drive letter. As you can see here, it's the G drive. This is a backup copy, actually. So I can select the database. It finds the transaction logs, and then I hit OK. From that, I can extract anything I might need to out of there. And I can export this mailbox as a PST. I can also export any other item I want to just by expanding this. You can see there. What I'm going to do here is I'm actually connect to a live Exchange server, connect to all the mailboxes, and then I'm going to do a drag and drop recovery of a message. The drag and drop features or capability is good for mailboxes and even the entire mail store. So I'm going to simulate this by removing a message from user 1. So user 1 is going to come to you and say, I lost a message from user 2. I need to get it back. You hit the search button there. They tell you the subject line was Nortel, and they tell you it was from user 2. And you hit Find Now. There's the message. I can open it up to confirm it. Very nice. And I can also drag this message right back down to the inbox and put it back where it was before. If the message was already there, it does have duplicate protection. It'll say duplicate message not copied. We have some more questions. Can I see your retention policies? SOS runs on has a policy of, well, we have unlimited version history. So we actually don't automatically purge any of your files. Only you, the customer, can delete anything. And being that we do have unlimited version history, we're only going to charge you for the largest version of a file that changes every day. It's the same file name. So it's actually better than having that version control. It's not really not necessary. Local backup is sync with online backup, or well, they're two separate. They're two separate programs. They have different schedules, different backup sets. Can we delete individual backup files or versions? If you delete I'll ask Ken for help on this one, but if you delete a file from there, it's going to delete all the versions as well, because the original file is like the full backup, and whenever we create a version, it's going to talk to that as well.
Right, and John's comment about retention policies is super important. We don't charge for versions. We give you unlimited versioning for free. So versions do not cost you any of your storage allowance. So when you're pitching this to your customers, you can position this as coming with an unlimited version history. They can roll back their data set to any point in time. John, could you just bring up Classic View?
Yes.
If you think about that from a backup and recovery standpoint, that's pretty amazing, because all of these machines that John's managing here with this one account, he's got 2 workstations and a bunch of servers. The fact that you can roll this back to any point in time is an extremely powerful feature from a recovery viewpoint. I'm not aware of any other backup software that gives you an unlimited version history and lets you roll back an entire work group or an entire server group back to any given snapshot. You've basically got cross-computer snapshotting with built-in remote archiving and this unlimited time machine rollback, all of which we're giving to you for free. So there's no charge for you for these versions that we keep. It's one of the major selling points of the one of the major selling features of the product. Yeah, and it's really something that you should be getting in front of your customers. A demo like this, we do a demo where we roll a computer back to 2008. And again, none of our competitors can touch us on that. They usually store 30 versions of your computer's data, which usually correlates to a few months worth of archives. But SOS gets an unlimited archive and an unlimited number of versions.
Got another question here. Is there an app like for your mobile device? Yes, we have those apps. We have an app for the iPhone and the Android. But also what I think is very cool as well is we have a mobile website. So you'd be able to go to a generic mobile website like m.managedoffsitebackup.net, and you'd be able to share recovery files very similar to the My Account system. Can we set a fixed date, say 1 year for retaining backups, or perhaps, okay, Ken just mentioned that. Any way to backup online exchange? Well, at the moment what you would do is you would take an image of maybe just the Exchange disk, and then you'd upload that to the cloud with the online backup software. When files are saved, do they need to be saved to a certain folder then? This folder, I assume, needs to be online for the backup to occur. Well, in regards to online backup, you are opening up the software like you saw me do before, and you're selecting the folder that you want to protect and back up. So that's going to just stream to the cloud. So if you are asking me a question about a different type of backup, if you could please specify, that would help. Okay, so we're going to go over to, so I showed you